Ceasefire? The latest twist in the Iran-Israel conflict, the Middle East is once again at the center of global concern. With escalating violence and mounting uncertainty triggering worldwide alarm, days of intense bombings between Israel and Iran have left behind destruction and casualties, followed by an unprecedented move: direct U.S. military strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. What came next was Iran's retaliation against American military bases in the region, raising fears of further escalation. In a conflict already marked by volatility, a ceasefire was declared, though shrouded in doubt, as former U.S. President Donald Trump took a tough stance against Israel, traditionally America's closest ally in the region. I'm Nathalia Passarinho from BBC News Brasil, and in this report, I break down how one of the most serious confrontations in the Middle East in recent years has unfolded. It all began on June 22nd, when the United States launched its most powerful conventional weapons against 3 Iranian nuclear sites: Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordo. This marked the first direct U.S. offensive on Iranian soil since the 1980s, thrusting Washington into the heart of the Iran-Israel standoff. The Iranian nuclear facilities were reportedly destroyed. Tehran condemned the strikes as an act of aggression, asserting its right to defend itself. Strong words directed at both the United States and Israel. In response, Iran launched missile attacks, not only on Israeli territory, but also targeted the U.S. Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. Iranian officials framed the move as a clear and explicit message to Washington and its allies. The missiles were intercepted, preventing casualties, but the world braced for the possibility of further. Iranian strikes on U.S. targets, and escalation analysts warned, could provoke another American response. According to BBC security correspondent Frank Gardner, Iran's attack on the U.S. base appeared to be a calculated, carefully choreographed act, retaliatory, but designed to avoid triggering a catastrophic escalation. On social media, Trump dismissed Iran's response as weak and predictable, even thanking Tehran for the advance warning. He suggested that Iran and Israel should seize the opportunity for peace. But events quickly spiraled. On June 23rd, Trump announced a ceasefire, claiming both Israel and Iran had agreed to halt the 12 days of mutual bombardments. Iran accepted the proposal, contingent on no further aggression. Israel also confirmed it would comply. Before the ceasefire took effect, both sides engaged in another night of heavy shelling. The following morning, Israel accused Iran of violating the truce by launching a missile at Israeli territory. Israel's defense minister vowed a forceful response, targeting key sites deep inside Tehran. The Israeli military issued evacuation warnings for parts of Iran's capital, Tehran. However, denied firing any missiles after the ceasefire and warned that future Israeli attacks would be met with retaliation. Tensions escalated further when Trump, in an uncharacteristic rebuke of Israel, warned on social media, "Do not drop those bombs. It would be a massive violation." Bring the pilots home. The crisis, which began on June 13th, when Israel launched a large-scale offensive on Iranian nuclear facilities and military leaders, shows no signs of resolution. Israel insists Iran is closer than ever to acquiring nuclear weapons, posing an existential threat to the Jewish state. Founded in 1948, Iran denies the accusations, claiming its nuclear program is purely for civilian energy purposes. Still, international skepticism remains high, with concerns over Iran's lack of transparency regarding enriched uranium stockpiles, the critical component for nuclear weapons. So far, Iranian authorities report over 600 fatalities from the attacks. Israel says at least 28 people have been killed by Iranian missile strikes. Many questions remain unanswered. Will the ceasefire hold? What impact did the U.S. strikes have on Iran's nuclear ambitions? Is this truly a 12-day conflict, as Trump suggested? Or is the region on the brink of a new, unpredictable long-term war? We will continue monitoring the developments. Stay updated on bbbrasil.com, our social media channels, YouTube, and WhatsApp. Thank you for watching.